Hi, I'm Comyns of Exchange Property Sales and Management. Now, when most of us look at a tree, we see a thing of beauty. But as a sales agent and property manager, I have to tell you that trees are not your best friend. Now, here are 3 reasons why. Now, the first of these is leaves and gutters, and it's pretty self-evident that trees drop leaves and they fall in gutters. What you may not know is that it is not the tenant's responsibility to keep the gutters clear, and that it is in fact the owner's responsibility. And often the first we know about this is when a tenant contacts us to inform us that the gutters are overflowing, perhaps there could even be water coming in through the ceiling. In the long term, if leaves sit in gutters, gutters rust, more water falls onto the ground, there's more groundwater, and of course this leads to rising damp and other associated structural issues. Now, the second and less obvious problem is that of tree root invasion. And the first that we know of this is when the tenant contacts us to inform us that the toilet is backed up. And this is when we contact our trusted plumber, and they send an eel down the line to clear it, and sometimes it's necessary to send a camera down as well. What happens is that during the winter months the trees do very nicely, thank you, and then during the drier summer months they send out their roots to look for more water. Now, we had an instance recently where a property which is adjacent to a property that we manage had the sewer line collapse, and several $1,000s later, after their plumber had attended the property, dug up the sewer and replaced it, they presented our owner with a bill for a portion of the cost. Now, the interesting thing about this particular instance is that the neighbour's property had a very large tree in the back garden directly above the sewer line that collapsed. So there's an obvious question as to who is responsible and who should pay. Now, the third issue is one of the consequences of tree root invasion, and that is where the tree roots are so big and so strong that they actually affect the structure of the property. And this is surprisingly common. We had a property in Surrey Hills where the tree would be only several metres from the actual structure of the property, and you could see very clearly the outline of the tree roots under the pavers in the back courtyard. The house was suffering structural damage, and consequently there was also rising damp and a host of other issues. So you would think that there was a very strong case for council to permit this tree to be removed. But I have to tell you that when the council officer came out to look at the property and inspect the tree, it was a blanket no to that tree being removed, unfortunately. So just to wrap up, these are 3 reasons why trees are not your best friend. And this is particularly relevant in the inner city, where much of the sewer lines are old clay pipes, laid in the 50s and 60s or even older. So my advice to you is, if you're buying a property, think seriously about how close the trees are to your building.